Hello and welcome to the Science Fiction and Fantasy Marketing Podcast, the show where we help you establish your author brand, increase the size of your audience, and sell more books. I'm Lindsay Baroker, and I'm here with Jeffrey Poole and Joe Lalo. And again this week we do not have a guest. It's Christmas time coming up here pretty soon, but we do have a couple more people lined up coming up, so don't get bored with us. We'll try to keep it short and keep it interesting tonight. We're going to talk about ebook pricing, kind of what we do, what we've tried, what we think about some of the myths and advice out there, and hopefully something will be useful to you. Before we jump into that, do you guys have any news? I know we were just on last week sharing our news, so but let us know if you have anything you want to talk about.
Not really for me, aside from Phoenix is still busy and big as heck and don't want to live there. So, but aside from that, no, nothing new over on my end.
I go two little things. The German translation I was talking about last week is still clinging to the top 100 in Amazon Germany. According to the webpage, it says 18 Tag in den Top 100. So 18 days, it says. I briefly dropped out, but I guess they didn't count it. I guess it was for less than 24 hours. So we're sticking around number 90, I think, right now.
And just for kicks and giggles, if you wanted to mention, I enjoy doing this to people, sorry. It's like, okay, go to Amazon Germany, and here's what you search, and that is?
That is Der Ewigkrieg, the Perpetual War. You can also search Joseph R. Lalo. That'll get you there, too.
Oh, where's the fun of that?
Yeah. I also, they're over there, I just got the proofs in for the other two paperbacks in my sci-fi series. So now all three, after this podcast, I'm going to basically hit OK on both proofs, and then I'm going to have all three books available in paperback again. And then I'm almost done filling in my backlist.
Nice.
All right, if you get a whole pile of money from Germany, you have to buy a BMW or something made over there,
VW?
Danke, Germany.
All right, well, I don't have any news for myself, but I thought I would mention that last week I talked about not quite knowing about any big sci-fi fantasy promo groups on Facebook. I was not thinking outside of Facebook, and actually we've had Patty Jensen on the show before, and she's running a big group promo thing. I think kind of she started it through Kboards, but I have her link where you can sign up if you're interested in, I think every month she does something. Yeah, she does something, and it's pattyjensen.com/promo. And I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to go over there. And it sounds like from Kboards that people are definitely getting some sales from these every month. So check it out. It sounds like a good deal. All right, let's jump into the topic. Look at that. After only 2 minutes, guys, we're going to be done in like 10 minutes. This is going to be an awesomely short show. No, we'll see. I always say we're going to have a short show, and somehow it's always an hour. But okay, for pricing ebooks, let's just I have some questions written down and things I see online a lot, and I'm going to go ahead and ask them, and the guys will chime in, and then I will also chime in, and hopefully we can argue or not. I don't know how boring it will be. Yes, I agree. We agree. So first question, just to start out, what do you guys price your novels at right now, and what's your reasoning for that?
The very first book I ever released, I released it, this is back before I knew what the heck was going on back in 2010, but I released my very first book at, I didn't know what else to charge. I put like $9.99, and what a surprise, it didn't sell. So I'm like, okay, I'll drop it to $7.99. That still didn't sell. And that's when the other ebook authors, indie authors, started getting popular. I noticed that the magic number at that time was pretty much right around $2.99. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. I dropped it to $2.99, and I started making some sales. So then, as I released the second book, I also put it at $2.99. And that's when I made the first one perma-free, just to get the book out there. And then I figured, okay, well, these things I like to actually make a little bit more than actually that, not to be greedy. But I figured, okay, if I'm doing an epic fantasy, and if I'm cracking the 95,000 to 100,000 word mark or greater, I figured it should be $3.99 and leave it from there. And if it's less than that, I should shoot for the $2.99 range, which is what I'm going to put my little mystery novel at, because that's only going to be right around. I checked all the rest of the lengths of the books in there, and they're going to be right around 60,000 words or so. So the new stuff, epic fantasy, for me anyways, $3.99. If it happens to be a shorter story, then I'll drop it to $2.99, and anything smaller than that, I'll have to figure out what I'm comfortable with charging.
Yeah. As for me, for the longest time, I similarly started my book at $10.99, thinking, well, this is what books cost. and I didn't sell any. And then that's the one that eventually got down to free before I started making any money. But the others, I did $2.99, the lowest cost I can charge while still getting to the higher tier Amazon royalties. And I stuck with that for a while, where all new releases were cost that much. Then I came up with a release that was a lot shorter than those, and it cost that much, and I didn't feel it was right, so I dropped that one to 99 cents. And lately, my most recent release is $4.99, and that's about as it's probably close to 170,000 words, so it's pretty long. And I tried it at $4.99. It's selling okay. I think that more likely $3.99 is where I'm going to land with that stuff. And then for stuff that's less than, say, 100,000 words or near 100,000 words, I'll probably go to the $2.99 mark. But I don't feel comfortable going over 5. The only thing I have that costs more than 5 is my anthology costs $6.99, but it's got 4 whole books, 2 novellas, and a couple of short stories, so it's pretty packed. Yeah, but I shoot for $2.99 or $4.99 unless it's particularly short.
All right. Well, I guess I'm not the same way. I did not start at $9.99. I started at $2.99 with my first 2 books. I thought, who's going to buy these from nobody they've heard of before? And I think a lot of indie authors have that sort of feeling too. And we have to remind ourselves that there are tons of traditionally published authors out there that nobody's heard of either, and the publishers still start their books out at $9.99. So I'm not saying start at $9.99, but don't necessarily assume that you can't get a sale if you do $4 or $5.
Yeah, you can usually guilt your family members into buying them.
Especially actually when you're in, it sounds counterintuitive maybe, but I actually charge more on books that aren't selling that well. I'm like, if somebody buys it, it's because they're a fan of my other stuff probably, and they were going to buy it anyway. And if it's not going to, like, I do lower pricing when it means that I might be able to attract new readers, and if it keeps a book in the top 100 of a category or something like that. So yeah, actually my older series are priced higher than my newer stuff, because of the newer stuff, it's still in the top 100 for steampunk. Pretty much the whole series is still in the top 20, and as we've talked about before, it's good. They're selling well, but it's not as competitive as most of the other genres, I would say. So that's when I kind of will go lower. But usually, my general rule is to go by word count. Anything under like 20,000 is 99 cents or free. I kind of consider that a short story. Coming from epic fantasy background, as we've discussed before, we don't usually write that short of books. So then, and I've only got a series of novellas that's in these awkward word count ranges where I can't really justify $2.99. I think the first one in the series is 17,000 words. That one's free right now. The second one's around 23,000. I think the third one was actually higher. I think I got it for like 43,000, and I did charge $2.99 for that. But then the third one was in the 30,000 range, and for me, I was like, based on the chart I go on, I'm not sure I want to charge $2.99 for that. So I think it's $1.99, and this is why I don't write anything in this series, because you don't even notice the earnings if you can't charge $2.99. You have to be you have to be selling like a zillion of them at 99 cents to actually notice that you're making any money.
Can I take a wild guess as to which series we're talking about here?
I'm sure I only have one series of novellas.
Oh, but Flash Gold, you gotta love it.
I've committed to writing the 5th one over Christmas, so
there you go.
I will be completing the series. But
estimated word count range.
I'm going to try for 40,000 so I can sell it for $2.99 and feel okay about that. Because a lot of people will just sell stuff for more. These aren't romances, they're not erotica, they're not any of those categories where sometimes you hear that people can get away with charging more for them. They're just little steampunk, historical, alternative fantasy kind of stories. It's not even a popular genre, so I'm not going to try to milk anyone for it. Then with my novels, if it's 100,000 and up, I'll usually go $4.95. That's kind of my normal novel rate. With the Dragonblood books, most of them are $3.99 because the first one was quite short, about 70,000 words, first couple. So I only charged $2.99 for those. Just, as a new series, I was like, what the heck? And they actually sold pretty well, so I left it at $2.99 for quite a while. And then I don't really like as an author, and this is my personal taste, which you can't necessarily use as a guide to how you should price things. It's good to experiment because what you think and what you believe is not necessarily what all the readers are going to think. But my personal taste is that I don't like the stair-stepping up as the series progresses. I always feel like I look at that and think, wow, the author's kind of trying to gouge you as we get farther in the series, especially if the books don't get longer, which my books tend to get longer. The latest Dragon Blood book, 7th in the series, is 130,000 words, so it really went up from 70,000 words, and I've been doing $3.99 for those. Later, when they drop off the charts, which kind of inevitably happens, it's the life cycle of a book. Then I'll probably just do a flat $4.95 for the series, maybe still keeping the first couple at free or 99 cents. Or I'd almost rather do free than 99 cents because you make so little at 99 cents. It's like, meh.
You're
But,
feeding Amazon's purse, essentially.
yeah, but there are reasons, because you want to appear, if it's selling well and you're appearing high in the charts, 99 cents can still be worth doing. I would say less so probably in fantasy and science fiction, unless you're maybe doing urban fantasy or dystopian sci-fi, something that's more popular than average for the genre. Epic fantasy, I think people are kind of trained to pay more, so I probably wouldn't bother with the 99-cent thing there unless you're doing a sale, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. There's definitely reasons why you would go lower. So, moving on to the next question. Have you guys tried 99-cent releases for your novels in order to try to get to the top of the charts and just get more visibility and sell more books and maybe get more people into a new series?
So, like, release a brand new book, then, or are you talking about release for novel?
Release a brand new book at 99 cents.
Whether starting a series or a part of a series?
I would think you wouldn't do it in an established series. I would not. So I would say starting a new series that you're hoping will take off, have you or would you price a first book at 99 cents? If not indefinitely, then like during release week or something, in order to try to stick in the charts and get that algorithm love.
I personally haven't done it, but I think it's actually a really good idea. If you're, like in my case, I've got my Tales of Lantari series. I've actually come up with an idea for a new fantasy series. I'm like, okay, well, heads up, guys, I'm going to release this one temporarily, 99 cents to help get it out there. Then after, let's just say a month or two, it's going to go back to its normal price at $3.99. So grab it while you can. That would drum up some interest. So I would try it. I just haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, likewise. I haven't tried this. I haven't tried this on any of my own books. I have been part of like promotional limited time bundles that we launched at 99 cents. And it was fairly effective actually. So it's definitely a winning method. And again, would I try it? I certainly would. Again, probably it's not the sort of thing I would do with my first series. Obviously, since the series is already out, but even if I was just releasing my first series now, I probably wouldn't launch at 99 cents because I don't want to set the expectation that future novels are also going to cost 99 cents. But if you've already got a back catalog at established prices, not only will it make it clear that when the sequel comes out, that probably won't be 99 cents, or at least won't permanently be 99 cents, but it also won't make it. It'll feel as though this is a special low price, keyword special. As opposed to setting expectations for something you don't intend to continue. So I definitely think it's a potentially effective method. I haven't tried it. Might try it with the next new series I start, if and when I start at one. But I wouldn't have done it with my first series.
All right, for myself, I have done it. I did it with book 1 in my Rust and Relics series, which was kind of a departure from my usual stuff. It's set on Earth, so it's kind of a contemporary fantasy / sci-fi thing. And I think it worked because it didn't stick in like the top 200 or anything like that, but I think it was around 1,000 for maybe the first month or two that it was out. It was selling pretty well. Of course, I also got I don't know, that's probably my least well-reviewed book. I think a lot of my regular readers didn't care for that much for the departure from secondary world fantasy to contemporary Earth-based fantasy, and it was a really different style. It was in first person and a little snarkier, as urban fantasy often is. So I could see that, and I think maybe because it was only 99 cents, they all tried it anyway. So now, looking back, I wonder, man, if I just made it $5, but maybe they wouldn't, knowing that wasn't really their thing, they wouldn't have tried it. So I don't know, but I did about 7 months later, release the first Dragon Blood book, which was only one book, standalone at the time, and I decided to go $2.99 with that one, and it stuck. in the rankings, probably around the same place in the top 1,000 for several weeks. So looking back, I probably won't do 99 cents again, just because it seems like $2.99 can still draw in new readers. It's still enough of a deal that, you know, if you've got a good cover and a good blurb and all that kind of thing. If you don't have those things, no, it doesn't matter what the price is. People aren't going to buy it. Or if you're writing in a kind of obscure, multi-genre, or what do you call it, cross-genre, when they've got 5, 6 different things going on and it's not easily categorized, those are often a tough sell. And I don't think the 99 cent thing will probably work with that very well. Where you kind of see people able to stick and really gain a lot of traction and find new readers is when it's 99 cents or even $2.99. You could try either way. And it's also something that is very popular, and dogs enjoy it as they shake off their leashes. But yep, so I've tried it both ways, and I think going into the future, going ahead, I would just $2.99 would be the lowest I would go for a new release. Except when, like Joe said, 99 cents when you've got 8 authors in a box set or something, especially if everybody's doing some new fiction, that can really, you know, if you want to make a list, like a New York Times or USA Today bestseller list, that would be the way to go. You can definitely get a lot of people to check that out, especially if every author in the box set is kind of established and already has a, you know, mailing list that they can do that. Let them know. All right. Looking at the next question. Okay, do you guys, I was going to say with 99 cents, the one other time I'll do it for a release is if I know, like, and I never really do this, but if I knew I was going to try to get a book bub, like the very next month or within a couple months, and I was going to drop the price to 99 cents anyway, then I would do 99 cents for a couple days just to give my regular readers a chance to get it at the sale price. So we'll talk a little. Go ahead.
Ulterior motives. Got it.
Well, I don't like charging people extra who are like the loyal fans when I know that I'm going to drop the price pretty soon. And actually, that's why I don't really do sales on newer books, because I don't want to drop the price that early. And you get more out of it anyway when you've got like 3 books out in the series. So.
Very true.
All right. Do you guys ever change the price after release? Do you start high and later drop the prices on older books or anything like that?
I've tried it on a couple of my book 2 and book 3 on the Balkan Chronicles, my first series. And to tell you the truth, they sold whether I dropped them in price or made them the normal price. So after that, after my little experiment, and it didn't affect me in the slightest, I left them at the price that they released at, and that was it.
I have changed prices over time. Early on, it was to try to find a level for a shorter work. Like I say, I had one that was around 40,000 words. I started at the same price as the rest of the books, and then worked it down to 99 cents because it just didn't seem like it warranted the full price when it was 1/3 the length. I've also had a situation where when I started my sci-fi series, I started the book, which was reasonably long, at $2.99, and then when I released the second book, I dropped it to 99 cents, and when I released the third book, I dropped it to free, so that I finally had my free series starter. We said in the past that 3 is more or less the magic number when it's worthwhile having a low price lead-in. And I've had 1 or 2 instances where I think I started a book at closer to $4.99 or so, and then dropped it to $2.99 to match with the other ones in the set after it had been out for a while. But mostly, I at this point probably will only do the periodic decrease in price when it's a new series and I can't justify the free lead-in. I'll drop the price gradually toward free as the series goes on.
All right. Well, for myself, I kind of said it already that I'm actually more like I consider $4.95 kind of my baseline for and I don't know why I do $4.95. I could do $4.99. It doesn't matter. It's easy. I'd have to go change everything if I wanted those 4 extra cents. So maybe someday I will. But that's sort of my baseline for a novel that's 100,000 words and up. And if anything of mine is lower than that, it'll be a special case where it's like I have my contemporary mystery love story thing is I think $2.99 because nobody buys it. And, yeah, it's like it's kind of short too. So that's that. But usually I'll end up at $4.95. But if, like I said, if a series is selling well, then maybe I'll go lower if I think it will help me sell more and stay in the rankings. Not to say I haven't seen people sell books at $5 or $6, and I would say above $5. I don't see it very often where those books are in the top 100 for like epic fantasy, unless of course it's a traditionally published author that you've heard of probably. But yeah, and I would say I did start out at $3.99 or somewhere in there for a while. $3.99 was kind of what I was doing new releases at, and I decided let me just try $4.99, $4.95, and it really didn't make a difference. I felt that those price points are pretty similar as to whether people will buy it or not. They either won't because it's already too much at $4, or there's not much of a difference between $4 and $5. So that was my finding. I actually did semi-scientifically kind of analyze a few book launches that was in my Emperor's Edge series, and I didn't notice a difference in launching a new book at $4.95 versus when I'd been doing it at $3.99. So I just changed the price across the board for the series. Aside from the first one is free, and I think the second one, sometimes it's $2.99 or 99 cents if I'm running like a promo usually. I don't even know what it is right now. I should probably check. It might be $4.95. Who knows? It's a mystery. And if I do a box set, which I've done this last year and talked about with 3 books in the series, that will be lower priced than, I think I started my Emperor's Edge one at $6.99 for the first 3 books, since 1 was perma-free and 2 and 3 were full price. So it's a little bit of a deal for them that way. And then if you get the BookBub and do the 99 cents, it definitely tends to be worth it. Yeah. But okay, shall we move on to the next question?
I was gonna say I've noticed too is I've talked to a lot of fans on Facebook and emails and whatnot, and I've actually asked them before a couple of times, like, what do you think is the limit for buying an ebook from an author you really don't know too well or willing to take a chance on? And $5 seems to be that magic number. If you get something at $5 or $4.99 or less, they're like, okay, it's only $5, why not? If it's like $5.99, then most people are like, yeah, I'll pass and go on to something that's cheaper. There's all these other books that are so much cheaper, but I think $5 is that threshold where most people are like, okay, it's only $5, give it a try.
Yeah, you don't want anyone to tip their head when they're trying to decide if they're going to buy your book. Like as soon as then yeah, you've priced a little bit too high.
Right, and I've actually gotten, and probably you guys have too, I've got an email from a lot of readers who are just kind of, they say, money's tight and I only have this budget each month for books, and so, and I feel personally too, because I release so often, that when you look at it, they're actually maybe spending like $50 a year on me or more if they buy all my stuff. So that's something to consider too. If you're only doing like 1 book a year, maybe price it higher, and because you're probably not getting a lot of momentum anyway as far as marketing and if you don't have a whole series out yet goes. So that may be a case where and price it a little higher, and you can have half the book on Wattpad or something like that, or up on your website to kind of try to get people to check it out, or as we had Moses on here before, he did kind of the prequel novella that was like the first third of his book, and he actually had that on Amazon, and he would cycle through doing that free or 99 cents to try to get people to buy the more expensive book. So something to consider if you only have 1 or 2 books out and you don't want to go bottom bargain basement on the pricing. All right, for those of you who publish short stories or novellas, how do you price those?
As we were mentioning before, I've got one release essentially that's a couple of short stories, and it's not longer than 20,000 words, and I would feel just because my normal 100,000 word book is $3.99, there's no way I could try and charge $2.99 lest I get blasted in the reviews. So my short stories, I usually have to make sure they're between 15 20,000 words long, and I'll put it like a simple little 99-cent thing on there. I know I'm not going to get much out of it, but most of the times the fans will say, oh hey look, now he's got a couple little optional extras, so to speak. 99 cents, why not? So I don't, and for a short story, I don't see going any higher than 99 cents, but that's just for me.
Yeah, for my shortest stuff that's like less than 10,000 words, which is normally done as a newsletter perk, I give it away as for free on the newsletter. And then the only real like novella that I have that's actually for sale, which is around 40,000 words, is 99 cents, and that's probably what I would do for anything that's sub 50,000. Yeah, so I like it's tricky unless I'm going to collect them into a volume that is about as long as one of my full-length ones. I'm probably not going to price a novella anywhere higher than 99 cents, even realizing that it's effectively easier to just make it free at that point.
All right. Well, as I was saying, I try to make my novellas, technically, I think they're short novel length once they hit 40,000 words, but if it's, I like that price point because I feel I can charge $2.99 because my novels would be $3.99 or $4.95 or whatever. Um, I used to do short stories the first couple of years I was publishing. It was taking me, you know, I wasn't writing a novel a month then. It was, maybe I was still doing pretty well, I thought, 4 or 5 months in between novels that were 100,000 words and more. And so I would kind of write a short story with the same characters as were in my main series, just as something to have to release in the interim space so that it wouldn't be 6 months necessarily between new books. And I would charge 99 cents for anything under 10,000 words. And I found that it's like we talked about before, you hardly even notice the earnings of something at 99 cents if you're, unless you're writing something like contemporary romance or just something super popular where you can conceivably move tens of thousands of copies of the book. I think it can happen in science fiction and fantasy. I think, like I said, urban fantasy especially is pretty popular. And I don't know, if sci-fi, you guys have to tell me. I always feel like there's a lot of dystopian stuff sells quite well right now, and maybe a little space opera, but I feel like our numbers, even when you're selling well in our categories, are just not comparable to like the contemporary romance that's selling well.
That's true.
Very true.
But we have loyal fans. We get fan art, man.
We do.
What other genres get fan art? I don't know. Okay, some romance readers are going to write in and say, I get all kinds of fan art.
You should see my fan art.
Yeah,
I can't even show you my fan art.
You get R-rated fan art. So what was the question? Short stories and novellas, yeah. So, but I've just kind of moved away from even writing anything shorter than 40,000 words these days, unless it's unintentional. Sometimes you have to end the story when it ends. But if I'm plotting something now, I will just kind of go, okay, how is this going to be at least 40,000 words so I can charge $2.99? Because I just don't want to get into the charging $1.99 or $1.69, or that's kind of how it was for my series of novellas, and it seems not worth it for the time and effort. Because it actually, if you're writing a novella, it's almost not that much harder to just write a novel. And with short stories, I find that, and I know there are some people that are really good at writing them and can just whip them out, but by the time I think of a plot and have something I really want to write about, it almost seems like it was as much work. I could have just plotted a novel, and in a couple more weeks I could have had something novel length. And so I know that's not the case for everybody yet. You'll get there. Like I said, for me, I started out 7 novels, or 7 years to finish the first novel. So it gets easier. But yeah, so I think it's okay. If you do have short stories we've talked about before, you can write enough of them to make a collection and sell them at $2.99. But in addition to short stories not being as easy to price, I find they're not nearly as popular, even with characters that may be in an existing series. I have some people that read everything and they're excited about the short stories, but I definitely have had other people that just stick to the novels that are clearly in the series, so their loss. All right, next question, and everybody's probably been thinking this question because I see it all the time, and you guys probably do too. Some people argue that putting out inexpensive ebooks, especially novels, is devaluing your work, if not all indie authors' work, and teaching readers to expect cheap books. What are your thoughts on that argument?
Well, that goes back to my first attempt at pricing. When I was like, everyone else seems to charge, a certain price, $7.99, $9.99, and but so for me, anyways, it was the question of, well, do I want to sell just a few a month, or if you drop the price, and actually say, okay, I've got a good quality book here, just give it a try. Most people tend to try, an ebook if it's a cheaper price there, and I don't think it's actually devaluing. I was saying, you want to be able to have your readers, like say, spread the word about it, whether they're on social media, whether they're just talking to friends and family, and say, hey, I just found this really really cool author. I just check out his work there, and his books are only like $3-4 a pop. For the price of a normal ebook, you can actually get like this whole darn series in this one book there. So I don't think it's devaluing it. Joe, what about you?
I gotta say that I can understand the argument that when you price your book down, too low, then you lower the bar for everyone. If the first argument I would make is that Amazon are the people who's trying to get people used to a low price for the books. Like we're my defense for my prices, as high or as low as they are, is I'm able to make a comfortable living at this price level. If you feel like I'm pricing my books too low, I'm making enough money to survive, I would feel like I'm price gouging any higher. And I'm living off of my books right now. Hopefully, will continue to. And if you feel like I price my books too high, and I will say that this is the amount I have to charge in order to live comfortably as I have been living. So my pricing is more or less moderated by my need. I won't price more than I have to because I feel people should get value, and I again would feel like a little bit of price gouging otherwise. So I don't think you can necessarily equate. Ebooks are a free item, more or less, to distribute. They cost virtually nothing. So any value, I think you can afford to provide somebody a high value, a low price book with ebooks and still make a fair amount of money off it. And if you're going to be making more off of them than traditionally published, and you're going to be selling more of them because they're somewhat lower priced, then I think set the price a little bit lower. Don't race to the bottom. Don't try to have the lowest price out there. But I don't think that having an ebook that's less expensive than a paperback is not. Not only do I not think it's unwise, I think it's perfectly normal and appropriate to have an ebook that costs less than a paperback because they cost less than paperbacks.
Very true. I was going to say too is, if by chance the readers out there feel that we're not charging enough, I think Joe, Lindsay, and I could all do this. Put a little PayPal link right on our websites and say anonymous donations, right there. Feel free.
Buy me a can of soda.
There you go.
All right. I also always roll my eyes at that argument because I don't know how many authors I've found growing up. And I still do this from the library. So I got the book for free. That doesn't mean I didn't value the book or value the work that the author put into the book. And I actually feel that the reason I like to keep a couple freebies out there is because the last time I tried to check out ebooks from the library, I know it's getting better, but it still kind of sucks. Especially if you're looking for indie stuff. It's with a lot of libraries in a lot of counties, even like ritzy counties that you would think would be on the ball. Like I was in Snohomish County in Seattle area. It's like they ought to have the tech thing down up there. It's like this is a painful. I think it's gotten better, but like a couple years ago when I was up there trying it, like this is like my poor mom who's not tech savvy. She's trying to she's got this list of things she has to go through in order to actually get the ebook on her device and read it, and then the checkout date expires if you didn't read it in 2 or 3 weeks or something. Like it's digital and yeah. Anyway, it's kind of crazy with the libraries right now. So I feel that by having some free stuff out there, it's kind of like having some stuff available in a library that people can try it at no cost to them except for their time. And I also, we'll probably talk about this again with another question, but I feel like a lot of authors that, argue against $2.99 or certainly against 99 cents forget that the other half of the equation is how many books you can sell, right? It's not just how much I get paid per book. It's that multiplied times how many books you can sell is your income. So I always say, and this is what I've tried to do, is to play around with the prices and see what your audience will bear for your genre and your type of book. Because it may be that, like I was saying, it's hard in sci-fi and fantasy to sell enough books at 99 cents to make a killing, but I could be wrong. If you can sell tens of thousands a month, then you may be making more at that price point than at other price points. But or $2.99 or $3.99, it may be end up being the magic number. And like we were saying, we haven't seen too many indie authors selling well over $5 that are selling enough books to make it in the charts, which is not the be-all, end-all, but it definitely helps with visibility, and you're probably going to sell more overall if you can be in some of those charts. So it's worth playing around and just experimenting and not getting married to the idea of this is how you feel about what a book is worth. Because like I said, I've always found when I experiment, I hardly am ever in the majority. What I think is not what other readers think based on, what they're willing to pay and that kind of thing. So it's good to don't make assumptions based on what you believe. Try it out, test the market, see what actually works for you. All right.
Good answer. Good answer.
Oh, good. Thank you. Your approval means so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So do you guys drop prices for sales? I think everybody does. But what does the anatomy of a sale look like for you?
For me, I've dropped prices to the sales. I mean, most of my stuff is $3.99. If I'm gonna drop it, if I'm gonna go on sale, then usually what I'll do is obviously you're trying to attract new readers, so I'll typically drop the book to 99 cents, and then I usually leave it there for maybe a month, and then I'll raise it back out. And don't get me wrong, I'll post it everywhere. Like, this book is presently on sale at Amazon for 99 cents, and you never know how long it'll last there. When I secretly know, oh no, it's gonna be it's gonna be done with that in like a month's time there, and I'll see how well it works there. And it hasn't done too bad. Like I've got that omnibus thing. I've have it priced at 6.99. I've dropped it to 99 cents and see how well it sells there before I'll go ahead and put it back to where it was and wait a little bit more again. But for me, apparently the magic number is 99 cents or else 2.99, because I will not do the 1.99 bit, because I just that the threshold for that 70% royalty thing with Amazon is the 2.99 there. So either it'll be a full on 99 cents or else it'll be the 2.99. But for me, usually it's the 99.
Yeah, for me, a sale, I have dropped. No, actually, that's not true. I have never dropped anything to free for a sale. Uh, I haven't, but the German book, which is in Kindle Select in Germany, was dropped to free for a 3-day promotion, and now it's in the top 100. So clearly, that can be effective. Mostly, what I do for a sale is. Like on Smashwords, we'll do a July sale where you can optionally put up a coupon code, and I'll drop things as close to 99 cents as possible. And I have run 99-cent sales. I did a BookBub ad one time for a 99-cent price drop for my Steampunk series, the series starter. So usually I will run I'll drop the price for a month, but I'll usually only promote the price during the middle of that month. Like I'll drop it for 4 weeks, but only really promote the price for 2 weeks. But generally, it's 99 cents or it's free, and free only in very rare cases. Usually, if I go free, I stay free.
All right. And I'll drop it usually a book one to 99 cents, usually because I got a BookBub ad, or if I couldn't get a BookBub ad, I try to get like 3 or 4 ads right around the same time from like e-reader News Today and some of the smaller sites. I've played around every now and then because the pen name is in KDP Select, and you get those countdown deal things, and so you can make it 99 cents or free for a few days. And I tell you, if you don't run ads, or if, at least for me, those are science fiction and romance, in that genre, if I don't run ads concurrently with the sale, I'm really not going to sell that many more books. I mean, it might be a few more at 99 cents. The usual price for those books is $3.99 right now. Most of those are under 100,000 words, so that's kind of my ballpark area. So it's like, if you're going to do a sale, you have to plan to either buy some ads or maybe doing something with other authors where everybody's mailing their list. Because I don't think just 99 cents or free by itself anymore is enough to really, nobody's going to notice it.
True.
Go ahead.
Case in point, without just a sort of an experiment this month or last month, really, I haven't fixed it yet, but during NaNoWriMo, I dropped the 2 books that started in NaNoWriMo to 99 cents just to drop to 99 cents. I didn't promote it as a sale. I just decreased the price just to see if books at 99 cents sell more than books at $2.99. And the answer is no. They've been selling literally the exact same amount. They've averaged the same in the month they were 99 than they did the previous month when they were $2.99. So an unpromoted price drop has almost no effect, at least on the 2 examples I tried during November.
Makes sense.
And we should say before, when we were talking about launching a book at 99 cents, that's presuming you already have a mailing list and you can, or you've got some promotional scheme that you think you can get that visibility. And if you can sell enough to get into like a top 20 in your genre, then maybe at that point being 99 cents will be enough to kind of keep the ball rolling. But yeah, you got to plan some promotions with it. And what I will do sometimes, if I know I'm going to try to get a BookBub ad in April, like I'm going to do that probably for Warrior Mage, which is a book 1 in a series that I'm just finished the 2nd book in and will release pretty soon. So what I did is that book was $2.99. I just had it for $2.99. That's what I released it at to try to build some momentum and get some reviews, and I'll get people into the series. And it kind of slowed down and wasn't selling as much, so I put it up to $4.95 now, so that when I go to get that BookBub ad, or I try to get it, it will have been $4.95 for 3 months. And so when I tell them, yes, I'm willing to do 99 cents, it will be, they've said before, they like to do the most, like a big discount. So it'll be going from $4.95 down to 99 cents, which will make it look better for their mailing list subscribers. So that's another reason why you might want to go higher, especially on a book that's not selling piles of copies and isn't in the top 100 anywhere anyway. So just randomly on the talk of sales and 99 cents. All right, next question, and I think we kind of talked about this already. Is it possible to price drop / run a sale too soon after release? Your thoughts, please.
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't think you'd want to do a price drop that soon after release. You want to, build on the momentum and try and, get as many sales as possible with the full price. I mean, I personally haven't done it, so I can't base it off any experience.
Yeah, I would agree that I would say it's a bad idea. You really need to wait quite a while. If you don't do an initial low price release, you should really wait a while before dropping the price, because otherwise the people who are buying your books first are your most loyal fans. And the last thing you want to do is get all the money you can out of your most loyal fans and then drop the price to get, to reward people who aren't already fans. It's a bad policy. You should
Thus
give your most
loyal fans.
Exactly. You're angering your loyal fans. You're going to lose fans that way. And if you don't lose fans that way, you're still going to lose goodwill that way. So treat your most loyal fans right and give them, don't force them to support you and then try to lowball to get a few more extra fans. Yeah. So you should keep your price stable after release unless you released at a lower price initially.
Right, and I think I've heard the argument where people say, oh, nobody pays attention to price on books they've already bought, and I don't think that's true. I've had people notice before, like if I do a box set that's, I do the 99 cent, even though the series is like 2 or 3 years old at this point, they'll be like, I bought those when they were full price, and if they email me about it, I'll be like, yep, you did, here's some free books.
Yeah.
Because I do feel bad about that, but I never do it like a couple months after release. It usually tends to be a year or more after release that I'll drop the price.
Decent.
Right.
And I've seen this example lately with traditional publishers. Maybe it's just in my little genre niche that I watch, but somebody had a 1099, like a 1099 ebook, and it was released this summer, and already the publisher dropped it to $1.99 for like a month-long sale on a BookBub ad, in like October. And boy, I would be bitter if I'd paid $10.99 for a book, and that soon after it was $1.99. And I think people notice, because I know if I go to review a book, like, often it's 2 or 3 months after I bought it, and I see that the price is a lot lower, I'm like, well, gee, that was nice. It's one thing if you got it as a BookBub ad or something, and it's going back and forth from 99 cents to whatever every few months, but to drop a new release that soon, I think it's going to make people not happy. Do you think people notice?
Yeah, I think they do. And not only that, for the traditional publishers who are starting at $11 and $12, you're sort of tipping your hand showing, hey, look how much we could charge. We don't, but we could charge this amount. I think it's, for them, extra bad.
Right. I think if your regular price is $2.99 and you drop it to 99 cents, probably nobody's going to throw too much of a fit over $2.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think, a lot of people say, like, we undercharge for ebooks as indie authors, and I don't know if that's true. I like, Joe, I think you were saying paperbacks, you can still get them for, you might have to look, $7.99. I think you can still get them out there. I know they've definitely gone up in price, but to charge more than that for an ebook, and I know why the publishers do it, it's because they're releasing them at the same time as the hardbacks, and they want to spur hardback sales, but still, that's a lot of money. You can't. There's a lot of places where the minimum wage is not $10 yet. So to ask people to spend, I see a lot of authors like, oh, it's the price of a Starbucks latte. Guess what? There's a whole lot of readers out there that don't buy Starbucks lattes because they cost too much. They buy their beans for a pound of beans and do their stuff at home. So
yeah, exactly. I still haven't read the new Agent Pendergast book, from Preston and Child there, because the hardcover, I like hardcovers too, but hardcover is like $20.99. Kindle is like $16.99 or something. I'm looking at going, yeah, you greedy sons of guns. I mean, come on, it's an electronic file. You cannot possibly tell me it costs that much to put the darn thing together. So now me being ornery and stubborn, I'm waiting to see if, just like everything else I've noticed, it's going to drop in price here. So
Just sign up for that thriller section on BookBub, and maybe you'll
Yeah.
see it come to $1.99. And it's tough when you're obviously when you're traditionally published, you have no say on the pricing too. So you just have to kind of bite your tongue and hope they know what they're doing and that they have a larger plan. And you know,
Clearly, they must.
there's nothing wrong with sales and trying to get more readers, but yeah, just I would wait at least a year before you start the deep discounts on a book that, unless, like I said, you started at 99 cents and gave your regular, your real loyal fans who are on your mailing list a chance to buy it at the discount price right off the bat. All right, a couple more questions. I think we talked about that. Yeah. Well, have you tinkered with pricing to try to find the sweet spot where you earn the most, or do you just kind of stick with your system?
Well, as we were mentioning earlier, that's pretty much what I did. Is I actually experimented with the different prices to see, and I can tell you what not to do. Don't release it at $7.99. You won't sell much. But like I dropped it to $2.99. Everything went, it was selling just fine. I moved it to $3.99, and there was no difference, no decrease. So for me, but the sweet number is $3.99, and thus far, unless I see any need to, I think that's probably what I'm going to stay at, based on size wise, as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, with the exception of, again, my first book where I started way too high and worked my way down to something sensible, once I realized, I sort of made the decision early on that I was going to charge for a lot of my stuff the least I could while still staying in the high tier. So $2.99 was just as cheap as I could make it while still making a fair amount of money. So I haven't done a tremendous amount of tinkering. A little bit now, but not on like a moving price until I find a high point. More like trying new prices for different books as they release and seeing how they compare. So it's a much more long-term experiment for me. I don't do a lot of tinkering.
Yeah, I tended to do some kind of the first couple of years I was doing this because you had fewer readers then. You weren't going to piss anybody off if you if you tried to raise the price of the series. And after a while, if it's been $4.95 for a while, it's just kind of like, yeah, you're like, that's the baseline for one of my books, and
And
hopefully
that's what
people
the
are
readers
okay with it.
that's what the readers expect. So
Right.
keep them happy.
But I do think once you get higher, you're probably going to run into the scenario where you're selling fewer books overall, and you may end up making less overall. And when you sell fewer books, obviously you have fewer readers, fewer people that are going to go on and buy the next book in that series. So it's just, I think it's worth playing around a little bit. But then I do kind of have a system. I like it to be logical, and I don't know if every author feels like that, but sort of by word count is sort of my default. And having played a little bit with other prices now and then and tried the 99-cent launches, I seem to keep going back to $3.99 or $4.99, $4.95. I gotta make it just $4.99. I don't know why I have it $4.95. Anyway,
Well,
that's the
to
point of
stand
this
out.
podcast.
are your books $2.99, $3.99, and then $4.95?
Yes, because I don't know. They've been the ones that are $4.95 have been $4.95 almost since the beginning. So I don't necessarily go in and change the prices on the
Well,
older
if you
established
look at the
series.
10 keypad, the 5 and the 9 are fairly close. Maybe you're angling for the 9, you sneezed or something, and you hit the 5 and you didn't notice.
Someday, when I'm bored and I'm not working on a project, and we know how often that is, I'll just go into all the sites and change them to $4.99. Because I think that that's like I think Mark, who was it? Oh, Dan Wood was just on the Creative Pen podcast saying, yeah, everything should be .49 or .99. That's what sells best.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's also the untied shoe theory, where people's eyes will be drawn to the one thing that's different. So if there's a whole wall of 99s and then a 95, maybe you're going to stick out a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
and maybe too that I think I was in my formulative years doing a lot of book buying when paperbacks were $4.95 because I think for a long time it was $3.95 then $4.95 and then they shot up to like $5.99, $6.99, $7.99. So I don't know. I just remember $4.95 being like a really average price for books for a long time. Now I'm dating myself. People are like, geez, that was a long time ago. All right. What do you guys do as far as pricing in other countries goes? Do you just let it kind of set it based on the exchange rate, which is the default on most of the sites, or do you go in and change it or do anything?
I like even. Honestly, I don't even like even numbers. I like it where it's standard price for, like, $8.99 or 8.99 pounds, or however they say it over there in the UK there. So if I'm pricing out a book, brand new release, $3.99, and Amazon gives me a suggestion on what it would suggest for like the Germany store, the French store, and all the ones of the euros, and like for instance, let's just say if it pops up 9.15, I'm like, that's a funky number, and I'm willing to take a little bit of a hit, and I'll just like drop it down to the closest, which would be like 8.99 or maybe 7.99, whatever you have to be close to, and those seem to do really well. It's just me; it's just all psychological. It's like, that's just a weird number to have. It's like picking, let's just say, $3.57 for a book. Like, nah, don't think so. I'm going to round it up.
Yeah, I pretty much all of my books right now are at the automatically set based upon U.S. price. And I'm slowly coming to like the most recent price that I set. I think I went through and bumped it to the nearest 99 because honestly, value-added tax is probably going to screw that up afterward anyway. But it does seem a little bit janky to see a non-standard cent value as at the end. So it almost makes it seem more fair, even if you're very slightly raising or lowering the price, just to sort of give it an equivalent price structure seems just a little bit more even to me. That's
right.
Maybe a little of the obsessive compulsive in me going on.
Well, then it's contagious because I do the same damn thing.
All right, I do the same thing. I will do it to .99 or at least the nearest 0.49 or something. I don't necessarily raise it up so it's 0.49 or 0.99. Like I was just while you were talking, I was looking at my Dragon Blood stuff in the UK, and I don't know what's going on with the pre-order. It's 261. What the heck? I have to go in and check that. But everything else is like 199 in the UK or 259, 249, and I think that unless I'm mistaken, the VAT stuff won't get added on until they're in their cart. So whatever you put will actually appear on the page as the price.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, because the VAT will definitely, it ends up, they'll actually pay 361 or something, but.
Plus it changes by country or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those countries, I will usually stick pretty close for Europe, Australia, Canada, and the U.S. Kind of keep the price pretty similar, whatever the exchange rate tells me it is. In India, I will go a lot less because I think I have Joanna to thank again. She had somebody from Indian publishing on her podcast once that said like you could get a new paperback over there for like 120 or 150 rupees or whatever it is. And if you just go by what the equivalent is in the U.S., they'll try to get you to put your Indian books at like 250 or something, and so that could be the equivalent of pricing at like $20 over there. So I'll do like 149, or when I do the sales, I'll go out as low as you can, like 49 or something. I'm less familiar with some of the obscure countries, well, they're not obscure if you live in them, but the countries I don't know the exchange rate really well, I should say. As we offend all of our international readers.
Yeah, you live in an obscure country.
People live over there.
Oh, I'm fired. I'm not allowed to drink wine anymore in a podcast. I'm just not really sure in Hong Kong like what an average book goes for, so I tend to just go with what Amazon says. In Mexico, I'll go low again. I think it's down there probably quite a bit less on average for a paperback. So, have I offended everybody? Everybody from obscure countries?
I think everything's okay. I think obscure countries don't speak this language.
I don't know that that's true. I sell a lot of my books in countries I'm less familiar with.
We didn't name any specific countries really, so.
Yeah, if you are listening to the show, you are not from an obscure country.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh, nice save.
Let's move on. We've got a couple more questions, and hopefully nobody's actually listening to this far in the show.
YouTube comments are going to be great this time.
I will say, randomly on that subject, or not randomly, I actually go a little bit lower than what Amazon recommends in Australia, because I've been there, and everything's horrendously expensive. And I feel like if I can sell my ebooks for if it's $3.99 in the U.S., I'll usually make it $3.99 there, as opposed to I think Amazon will recommend $4.99 or even higher. So, and this last year I've really gotten a lot of Aussie readers checking out my Dragonblood series, so I don't know, maybe it helps being a little less than the average price down there.
I did the same thing. My Aussie sales went up as well, so I can only attribute that having something to do with it. Because I remember when we had a couple of those Aussie guests come in and say exactly that. Everything's so darn expensive. I'm like, all right, well, let's just knock it down a little bit, and then took a couple of weeks to kick in. All of a sudden, I'm like, wow, sales are picking up there. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I had a brief notion that I was going to live and work from Australia for like 3 months or however long you get did I even get a visa for Australia? I don't remember. This was a few years ago. I think I ended up being there about 3 weeks, and then I was out of money, so I had to go home. So it's not inexpensive. But moving on, almost to the end of our questions. All right, we've kind of talked about this, but I will briefly ask, when you see indies going in the opposite, do you think there's any merit in going the opposite of what everyone else does and pricing high at $7 or $8? Do you ever consider this, especially for your longer books?
Since I've already tried it and failed miserably at it, I would say no. I would say if they can get away with it and make sales doing that, I would say go right ahead. But that's not the norm. Most of the authors out there, the indie authors, are not well known at all, and most readers are not going to take a chance and spend $7.99 or $8.99 on a book from an author they've never heard of. I'm just my own personal opinion, but.
Yeah, likewise, with the exception of very, very collections. My anthology I have up near 7, but
Single
yeah, I don't
titles,
feel
yeah,
comfortable
no.
over than 5. So yeah, I try to keep my prices low. Even I don't really. If I wrote a 300,000 word book, I probably still wouldn't price it much higher than 5. Getting up near 7 and 8 feels like a multi-book thing for me.
Yeah, I have one book that's for $5.95 because 95 is awesome, uh, and it's 220 or 210 or 220,000 words. It's my one 6 point of view massive book in a series that was already established. It's in my Emperor's Edge world. It came after the series completed, and I figured people that are into it are going to buy it. Probably, I wouldn't say at any price, but they're probably not going to object to paying $1 more, especially if, unfortunately now on Amazon you can actually see the estimated page lengths, thinking, oh, this is 500 or 600 pages as opposed to 300. So, and I never had nobody ever said, hey, this one's too expensive or anything like that. I've not tried anything higher than that, and I don't feel the need to. Like Joe was saying, I don't want to gouge readers, especially when I have heard from a lot of readers that they're on a budget, and here I am publishing every month, and they're trying to try to make it happen so they can get my books when they can. So I don't want to make it harder for them. I have occasionally seen people that will get a BookBub ad and kind of stick in the algorithms on Amazon for a while afterwards, and that's when they'll go from 99 cents to more expensive. I've seen a $7.99 once. I think that's pretty rare, but definitely with the box sets, I'll see people go back up to $9.99, like for a 4-book box set, which is still, that's probably really quite a good deal if their other books are $3.99 a piece. And that can actually, I'll see them, they'll just start dropping, but for a while they'll still be kind of selling books at that price thanks to the sticking a little bit from the BookBub love. So that'd probably be the time to do it, is if you just had a BookBub and you sold 20,000 books and you think it's going to continue for a while. And like I said, if it's a box set, so it's still a good value.
The long tail on a thing like that can carry over even with a price increase. It can be worthwhile.
I will say for myself, I left my box set at 99 cents until now. So it's been 11 months, and I sold so many more books in that series later, the later books in the series. And I think if you put it back up to $9.99 or $7.99, it's probably going to fall off, within a couple weeks. So just something to consider. I could see doing it both ways. Just like if you're doing a complete series in your box set, then just try to milk it for as much as you can. If you've got 4 more books in the series, then maybe it's you might want to keep it at 99 cents until it starts to drop in the rankings. We must be coming up on an hour. It's getting hard to talk. All right, 2 last questions. Have you guys played with Amazon's price suggestion tool? And if so, do you have any thoughts on it?
Have not, and I don't know if it's just me, but I don't need Amazon trying to tell me what I should be doing with my own books. Maybe just me being ornery, but so no, for me, I have not. No.
I have hit the button to see what it says, and I think it had me pricing at $3.99. So basically, I mean, there's that. That's the happy medium for a lot of people. So I was pretty close. I've priced at $4.99 and $2.99 mostly. So splitting the difference seems like it makes sense. So I did it as an experiment. I didn't take its suggestion, but its suggestion was reasonable. So there's that.
Every now and then I'll check, and it always tells me $3.99, no matter what book it is, how
So
long it is.
it's the $3.99 suggestion tool then.
Apparently, for me in science fiction and fantasy, that I
Yeah.
don't know.
So three
Likewise.
ninety nine is the magic norm for that genre.
All right, listeners, if you've gotten a different price suggestion from the suggestion
Yeah,
tool,
We
you'll have
want
to
to
let us
know.
know.
we
Yeah,
do.
for a novel, like I imagine if you actually did it on a short story, it might recommend something shorter. But all right, last question. I think a lot of times I'll see people on keyboards that are a little bit kind of irked that all of the sponsorship options out there on the various sites basically say, yes, we'll accept your book, and it has to be 99 cents or free or deeply discounted. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Do you get ruffled or grumpy about that too, or do you just go with the flow?
It all depends on who's doing the asking there. It's like BookBub. BookBub wants your books to be deeply discounted as well. They have a hell of a reach, so I'm willing to pay attention and follow their lead. If some other little place I've never heard of wants or is trying to dictate what I should do, I was like, you know what? There's bigger, well-known companies out there that I'd rather do business with. So for me, it'd be all depends on who's doing the asking.
I think it's not unreasonable to like we don't really want to promote your book unless your book is deeply discounted because basically what are the times that books are normally promoted when you're new releases and when you're running a deep discount. So I don't think it's that bad to have a requirement that it be deeply discounted. I think it would be useful to have a place that will sponsor full price new releases. Like that's a distinctive book that needs for, a push. And I'm sure they'd have to have other criteria to determine like if your other books have been X successful, we will push your the low price new release or standard price new release. I also wish some of these places would allow you to promote a permanently 99-cent book when that is a reasonably good bargain. Like if your book is 99 cents and you want to promote it, you have to drop it to free in order to be on one of these sites. Whereas if it's a 130,000 word book that's at 99 cents, that's a deep discount, even if it's permanent price. So I would like it if they would consider that. Usually they'll take perma-free as promotable as well. I'd like it if they would consider basically if your book is extremely high value or a new release. I think would be my ideal ruling, but they have 2/3 of that with their current policy, so I think it's acceptable.
Yeah, it is kind of a shame that you can't get an ad at most of these sites. Well, no, I would say only I think BookBub may be one of the only ones that actually checks and sees what the price of your books was for the last 90 days. Because I just got an ENT ad for my Dragon Blood series that's at 99 cents and has been, and I just got ads for a couple other sites. I've got a new release in that series coming out, so I was trying to plug up something, plug the book for 99 cents. Almost the end of the show. So, but yeah, I know in order to get a BookBub ad on that set again, I'll have to raise the price to like $3.99 or so for at least 3 months, which is when it's still selling pretty well and getting a lot of new people in the series. I've been kind of hesitant to do that. I will eventually because BookBub, you gotta love them, you gotta want them.
Yep, they're still the kingmakers.
Yeah. So, but yeah, in general, I don't begrudge those sites that because, as we've talked about, it's hard to get sales even at 99 cents without some advertising behind it. You probably at the time you reach out to these guys, you've probably done everything you can do with your mailing list and your social media and that kind of thing. So
Yep.
it's probably your time to run a sale anyway. But yeah, we have had. There are a couple sites that do new releases. I haven't booked with any of them yet, so I don't know how much of a boost they give, or that may be something to check out in the future. But gosh, I think I've babbled. I know I babbled for long enough here. So is there any closing thoughts you guys want to share on this subject or life in general?
Oh, I say, we really look forward to reading the comments about this particular episode. So that should be fun. But no, I think I'm good on my end.
We won't be able to read them though, because they won't be in English, because they'll be from our
They'll be in
overseas
your language.
listeners.
Yeah, they'll be from Derf Kaburbia. But no, I don't have anything to add either, except for a bizarre comment right at the end there.
Are you gonna save it until we sign off?
It's fine. I'm done.
All right. Closing thoughts, just don't be afraid to play around with your pricing, especially if you're early in your career, and don't assume that what you think is going to be what the market thinks. So try it anyway, even if you're like, oh, nobody will buy it at this price, or oh, I couldn't possibly sell my book for 99 cents or 2.99. So, all right, enough from me. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we will have a guest next week for those of you who are tired of listening to us, or just me.
All right, you guys take it easy.
So long.
Bye-bye.